What is the man, dear boys, coming through once again? And on today's video, we're gonna talk about Renegade Media. He uploaded a video out there, and man, I got some things to say, man. But before we continue with this video, do not forget to hit that like and comment. And if you haven't subscribed to your channel, hit the subscribe button. Does not cost you nothing. 7 days to 6Ks, man. You already know the deal. We're gonna do a challenge. If we get to 6,000 subscribers in 7 days, let's see how we do, right? So let's get to this, man. Because this morning, as I was working by myself, right? Poor me. I seen this video by Renegade Media, right? Usually with the things that have to do with the mafia and all that stuff, I don't trip on this. But this one, the title attracted my attention, and I was like, man, let me see what he's talking about. And I clicked on it, and I seen it, and I was like, you know what? That's a pretty good video, man. If you were to ask me, 100%. But some lady had asked some advice from him because his son is basically gonna go, I don't know, to county jail, to prison. He's gonna do some time, right? And the lady's trying to change his son gang involvement. Well, it's not as easy as you might think, right? Because like I said, you know, you come across YouTubers saying, oh, I changed my life, I did this, I did that, changed my life, right? And I always saying it didn't change your life. They didn't. They think they did, but the only way that you're gonna change your life is that you have to dig and find out the whys in your life, the whys in your decision, and what you're gonna do with that. You know, and how you're gonna do that to prevent a future bad decision, right? Once you understand why you did what you did, what caused you to react that way, you can address those issues, man, and then work your way up to become a productive member of society, right? Simple as that. You just have to put in the work. And I extend my hand to Renegade Media because he was talking about that he don't have nobody to speak on. Man, he can speak with me 100%, and doesn't have to put nothing on YouTube. It could be behind through Instagram. I think we have each other through Instagram, and I will help him, and I'll try to give him some tools or things that he can do, you know, because he's talking about anger and how he came out of prison and he had all these anger bursts, right? Getting in a fight with his brother, arguing with his mom, got kicked out from the house within a certain amount of months. He was breaking TVs, doing all this stuff, right? And I don't know if he still does it, but it seems like, according to him, he still does, right? Well, anger is natural. Anger, he was trying to say that he don't know how to suppress anger. You know, you have to let anger just go, man. You cannot, that's a natural emotion. People do it because of certain different things. It can get triggered by insecurities, or it could be a defense mechanism of any kind of form, right? Survival. You know, you feel something is attacking you, you get angry, like what? I mean, but it's natural. The thing is that you have to understand that anger is a natural emotion, and you have to understand how to deal with the correct way by breaking things, getting in a fight with people because they trigger you to get this emotion. That's not the way to do it, right? If that person, or if a person, a situation, or whatever triggers you to get angry, you have to come with a plan of how to direct that anger into doing something positive, so maybe your mind will get away from that, you know. It could be by reading a book. It could be about having jokes, like little notes. It could be by taking a walk, taking a 5 minutes, calling somebody that you care. So those are the things that we call tools. There's going to be tools in your toolbox that whenever you come across a situation like that, you're going to bring out, so it can help you with that, you know, because the way that he is saying how he deals with anger is not the right way. And trust me, that shit's just going to take him to something else. Now, talking about the triggers, man, you have to understand what triggers you as a person, you know. A trigger, it could be anything that has to do with people. If a person triggers you, it could be your wife, your girlfriend, your mom, your brother, your friend, whatever. You have to understand, you know what? if this person's triggering me, I'm gonna stay away from that person until I come back to normal, or eventually make a decision, last lasting decision, based on what's going on or what kind of energy is coming from that person. At the end of the day, you have to look out for your own benefit and your own mental health. And by making these types of decisions with the people, removing people from your life is going to help you with certain things, right? Now, places is where you at. If something, like if you go to bars when you're drinking and stuff like that, those are triggers that can make you do things that you don't want to do. Once you start drinking beer, once you start getting comfortable and stuff like that, you have to understand stuff like that, right? He's talking about the healing process of an inmate, right? Somebody came from prison. He did 15 years. I did 15 years. I can tell you from my experience that the one thing that I struggle the most is the way that people got at you. You say in the form that in prison is different, and right here is just like boom, blunt, right? And you do feel like what, for reals? But you have to always think like, you know what? That's not the right way to go. You have to, if you're gonna be a productive member of society, you have to understand. And the thing with me, I understood what caused my triggers or what caused my reactions, right? What was the issues with me, and I worked on them. And I had let's say tools to help me with that stuff, right? In case one thing I can give you is just the way you breathe is gonna help you with relaxing you. You have to understand that. You have to know different ways. But with healing, you cannot heal an inmate who doesn't know what kind of wound he has, right? I mean, a lot of people saying I'm a changed man. I'm a changed man. I'm all this. I'm all that. And I always say no. I don't think I mean, if you didn't dig in your past, you didn't actually steady yourself and recognize what was those character defects that made you do what you did in life, or led you to this career of basically criminality. How can you say you're a changed man if you don't know what actually took you there, right? So once you find the wound and you treat it, now that's when you're gonna get healed. That's when you're gonna be like, you know what? I'm a changed man. Now you can address uh, that same wound whenever it opens again. Let me treat that wound. So you have to see it that way. For that lady to say that she's gonna change or do whatever in her power to change her son, that's wrong. That's wrong, because that change has to come within that person. The only advice that I can give to that lady on some real stuff is basically like this: show him support, but also show him who appreciates him. Let him see the real picture. Who appreciates him? Show him how much you love him. Show him how much it affected you when he got locked up, and how much is. I mean, you have to show him these things. So hopefully he understands and realize. Hold on, man. Maybe my mom's right. But if you're trying to change somebody, you cannot change nobody if he don't want to change. If you try to do that, that person is just gonna be pushed away. And it also depends in the way that you approach that person. Again, you approach that person by screaming, by saying the respectful things. I do understand that people get angry, but we have to understand how to get at a person. If you just come that way with that energy towards him, you're just gonna push him away, and he'll like, man, fuck it. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, right? If I get locked up, I get locked up. Why? Because he still think, oh well, my mom is gonna take care of me when I get locked up. You have to understand all of these things. And good thing that Renegade Media is getting into the, I think it's some kind of psychology thing, right? He's gonna go to some, because he's going through stuff apparently, and again, I think it's about talking to somebody. Good thing with the beer, man. If you know that that's a trigger in your life, don't do it, man. That's when it comes to triggers that are places, people, and things. A beer is going to be a trigger for you to act in a certain way, so you're going to avoid that 100%. And how you going to avoid that? By not kicking it with people who drink all the time. If you drink every day, man, that's That's borderline right there, being an alcoholic. You're dependent. You think you can call it recreational, but when you do it every day, that's basically you depend on alcohol through your life. So you have to understand that thing. Especially for people that can't handle alcohol, man. You have to, you have to be like, hold on, man. Every time I do something and I'm drunk, it gets me in big trouble, right? Maybe I must start drinking. Why? Because I'm gonna avoid that. That's taking responsibility. That's being accountable in life. But good video for Renegade Media. I gave you my output on this. And again, if he needs any help, you want to talk to somebody that can help you in how to open yourself up and do all of this stuff, we can do that for you. I'm not those type of guys that bring fucking blankets or nothing like that. I just keep everything on DL, man. And trust me, whatever is said, that's between me and you, and that's on my babies, man. I don't get down like that. But hopefully this message goes to that lady as well. Hopefully her son comes to understand, which honestly is still young. And one thing I can advise him as well to do is just keep them occupied, but keep occupied on doing something positive. Keep their mind occupied away from friends, from by doing some kind of work and doing something positive, that is he's gonna be surrounding himself with people who are positive. you know and that's all I can say. Other than that, if the guy is not trying to change, he's not going to change at the end of the day. I'm sorry for saying that. And just remember one thing: we do not make mistakes, we make bad decisions. It's about taking accountability for what you do and understanding your actions. So with this being said, we are out to next video. Muchas gracias. 6K, come on, man, let's do this. Saludos.